If we go back to September 22nd, 1998, Colleen Kelly was waiting for her friends to pick her up. They all go to a local high school. It's a all-girls Catholic school, a nice community in the South Shore in Massachusetts. Colleen's waiting to be picked up, and it is pouring rain. Her friends show up, toot the horn. She goes out and gets in the car, and as they're going down the road, she doesn't realize, and the two others don't realize, that they would never return. As they went to school in the pouring rain, they turned onto the state highway, and as they rounded the corner, the driver lost control of the vehicle. It hydroplaned across the double yellow line into the path of an oncoming vehicle, and it was just a horrific crash. 3 of the girls were killed, 1 badly injured. The driver of the other vehicle knew the girls because his daughter went to school with the girls, and they would actually go on vacations together. So it was a horrible tragedy for him as well.
In terms of your firm's perseverance, this was not an easy case. Can you talk a little bit about the depth of investigation and what you went through to prove there was a problem with the roadway?
It wasn't an easy case. You know, you've got significant hurdles to overcome. You've got, you know, the conception that you've got teenagers, they must have been talking, they must have been on the cell phone, they must have been fooling around. And you know, I've got teenage daughters myself, and I know what teenagers do. But these were wonderful people. They, you know, honor students, student athletes. They were religious education teachers. So we took a look at the police logs, and the police logs showed a significant, unusual amount of accidents in this particular area. And then we sent an investigator out and we interviewed some of the people who commute on the roadway and some of the neighbors in the area, and they said every single time that there's rain on this roadway, it's very, very slick, unusually so. And we documented that. We sent an investigator out with a video camera, and he took pictures of the standing water, and the water would run right down and it would stop right before the catch basin. Now the idea is, if the road's constructed right, it has a crown, and the theory is that the water is supposed to run off the side of the road so that people can drive on the road without driving through the water and run into the catch basin. And the road wasn't constructed that way. So what we did was we got a court order to actually close the road down, which the judge wasn't happy about getting us to close the road down. You know, he made us hire police officers. He made us hire construction people. And we got a huge drilling machine, and we essentially drilled down into the road and removed portions of the road surface so that we can send it out to be tested. And it's kind of unusual. I hadn't seen it before, but what they do is it's almost like looks like a big cake. It's called a core. And we sent this core down to, there's a center in Georgia, the National Asphalt Testing Center, and they actually tested for a number of things, including skid resistance, and it failed the skid resistance test. So at that point, we filed the lawsuit.
Explain the theory that you essentially proved.
The paving contractor didn't do what they promised to do, didn't do what they agreed to do, didn't do what they paid to do, and as a result, 3 people were killed, 2 were seriously injured. They tried to cut corners by getting out of a job cheap, because the stone cost more money than the rest of the asphalt, so they didn't put the proper stone in. The roadway is supposed to crown. It's supposed to have an arc to it so that the water runs off the side of the road into the catch basin. They had agreed to put the crown on the road, and they didn't do it.
What was the outcome of all of your firm's hard work for the victims, the families of these 4 girls?
No amount of money can ever compensate, you know, for the loss of a daughter. I have 2 teenage daughters myself, but I think that afterwards, after we resolved this case, that there was some closure for the families.